بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the help of Allah, we have started to have a brief interpretation of Quran. We reached to chapter Al-Alaq. Please listen to verse 3 to 5.
اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم.
Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala says, اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Read, and your Lord is most generous. الذي علم بالقلم, who taught with the pen. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم, taught man what he knew not. In Naveen interpretation, is when he's talking about this verse, he says, when Allah Ta'ala is talking about creation and remind us that He is the one who has created everything, He says that Allah is generous. As we see in this verse of Quran, when Allah says in chapter Infitar, verse 6 and 7, Allah Ta'ala says, ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك. O man, what has deceived you about your generous Lord, who created you and proportioned you and gave you an upright nature? As we see, Allah Ta'ala says, بِرَبِّكَ الْكَرِيمِ, your Lord who is generous. Then He mentions the one who has created you. So in these two verses, Allah Ta'ala is talking about creation, and He mentions that He is generous. But when Allah Ta'ala is talking about reading, teaching, or giving the knowledge, He doesn't say only that He is generous. Like this verse that we read today, اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم. Allah says He is most generous. So sometimes He says that Allah is generous. It is the time that when He says Allah is the one who has created you. But when He talks about knowledge, giving knowledge and reading, He reminds us that He is most generous. اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Read, and your Lord is most generous. One of the honors for Muslims, and actually for Islam itself, that Islam has started with the knowledge. The revelation started with these sentences. The first order of Allah is cultural order, when He says, O the Prophet, اقرأ وربك الأكرم. It tells us and emphasizes that the knowledge is so important. A nation without knowledge is nothing. A community, a society without knowledge definitely fail and will not be able to succeed in their life. And it is an honor for all Muslims to see that the Islam started with teaching and studying and using the pen. We will understand from these verses from the chapter Al-Alaq a few points. First, when Allah Ta'ala says, عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ, we will understand that Allah is the first teacher of the mankind. Allama al-insan, it means Allah is the one who has taught the mankind something that he didn't know, and he did not have the knowledge of that. So the first teacher is Allah. الذي علم بالقلم. Allah is the one who taught people through the pen. Allah will help the people, but this is a divine law that everything should be done through the tools, not by miracles. Sometimes Allah will show the miracle to the people, but it is very, very rare when Allah wants to tell the people that this is the Prophet and you should acknowledge to him. Of course, it is necessary to show a miracle. But if Allah wants to teach people, Allah will say, الَّذِي عَلَّمَ بِالْقَلَمِ. Allah uses the tool. People will not get knowledge and will not learn unless through studying, going to school, talking to the teacher and writing down. So we will see that if Allah teaches the people, Allah will say it should be done with the tool, and the tool is pen. الَّذِي عَلَّمَ بِالْقَلَمِ. We will understand that the best tool of transferring the knowledge from one person to another person is pen. عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ. Allah taught the mankind something that he didn't know. We will understand that the roots and the base of men's knowledge is the revelation. Allah gave the knowledge, the first knowledge Allah gave through revelation. When Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Allah talks about his ability and his deed. His ability that he can create, and actually he has created, and also his rububiyyah. It means he is able to take care of the people and raise them up, bringing them up, and he did it. And also he reminds us that he is a teacher for all the people. After that, because he is a creator, because he is the one who brings the people up, and he is the one who wants to help the people to get knowledge, then he says, okay, try to read it. If I am the one who has created you and wants to bring you up, to teach you properly, okay, you should start to get the knowledge through reading. So read. الذي علم بالقلم. Allah taught by the pen. الذي علم بالقلم. We will understand that authorship is something that is encouraged in Islam. This is a job and ability that we are encouraged to achieve it. We are encouraged by the narration to write down anything we have learned. There is a narration that says, if you learn something, if you type it by writing, you will keep it, otherwise you lose it. Even it is advised to be able to write properly and beautifully. Those people who have such ability to write down very well, of course, they are more successful people. Please listen to verse 6 to 8.
كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى.
Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى. Nay, man is most surely inordinate. أن رآه استغنى. that he thinks himself independent. Inna ila rabbika ruj'a. Surely to your Lord is the return. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, Kalla. What does kalla means? When he says nay, maybe Allah means that the mankind, human beings, will not pay attention to his background. He has forgotten his background, that Allah has created him. So he should be a good slave and he should obey him. He forgets that Allah is the one who offered him and favored him a lot. Before he was born, he prepared everything for him to be raised properly. But kalla, he forgets all. And in a state of obeying, he is the one who oppresses, who rebels, and transgresses. And this is the obstacle of being a good slave to Allah. So maybe kalla, when Allah says, Kalla innal insana la yatqa, nay, the human beings rebels. It means he forgets everything of his background and the bounties that Allah favored to him, and he starts to rebel and oppress the other people and disobey Allah. And maybe kalla, nay, means definitely. The human being is the one who rebels. As interpretation Nimune mentions that. So either kalla means, nay, he has ignored all his backgrounds and everything that Allah favored to him, and maybe it means that definitely, surely, he is the one who rebels. We should understand, and we should remember that these verses of Quran tries to tell us that if the people will not have enough capacity, he lose the road and he will not be guided. Sometimes we lose the road and disobey Allah because of the money, because of the wealth. It means when we have no money and wealth and power and ability, then we will be very good slave. Have you seen some people that when they are poor, they are very humble people and respect all of the people? But when they get ability and they have money, they start to fight other people. What is the reason? Some people have no capacity. It means their breast is so tight, it is not expanded. When they have a little money, they lose their control and they oppress the other people. So they lose their control and they disobey Allah when they have a little money. As we see the Korah, Qarun disobeyed Allah when he saw a lot of money, when he saw ability. As Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is talking about him, Korah, that he said, إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ إِلْمٍ إِنْدِي, in chapter Qasas, verse 78. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says in behalf of him that he said, I have been given this only on account of the knowledge I have. Anything I have, it is because of me, because of the knowledge that I have. So he was thinking that if he has some power, ability, wealth, it is because of himself. He forgot that Allah has given to him, and any seconds he decides he can take them back. So he became proud of himself because he did not have capacity. Sometimes a person will become proud of himself and disobey Allah because of power and ability. When he is weak, he obeys Allah. But when he has power, he forgets everything. As we see, Allah Ta'ala in Quran is talking about Pharaoh when he says, وَنَادَى فِرْعَوْنَ فِي قَوْمِهِ قَالَ يَا مُوسَى أَلَيْسَ لِي مُلْكُ مِصْرٍ, in chapter Zukhruf, verse 51. And Pharaoh proclaimed among his people, "O my people, is not the kingdom of Egypt mine?" It means everything belongs to me. When he saw this ability and power, he started to claim that he is the Lord. So he said, "Ana rabbukumul a'la." I am your Lord. Worship me. So some people disobey Allah when they see money and wealth, and some people disobey Allah when they think that they have power. We ask Allah to help us to have enough capacity, that anything we have, we will understand surely that it belongs to Allah, and Allah has offered us and favored us with these blessings for short time to check ourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Actually, we could not finish this verse, and inshallah I'm going to continue to talk about these few verses in next program. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.